Oh, you cunning linguist.
Oh, mellow greetings, constant listeners, and welcome back to the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
And we are very happy to have you here as yet again a pizzicato flair picks us through the opening tone of our glorious episode.
You had such a brilliant chance to be use an alliteration, and you just...
I missed it. Yeah, I fumble fucked it is what I do. Like a monkey fucking a football.
Started getting all V for Vendetta, and then you ended like Ferris Bueller.
And I simply soliloquized as I shat upon a turtle.
See, I accept that.
Oh, you should.
And by the way, for the record, my first concert was not Fall Out Boy. It was Saliva and Three Doors Down, and there was a lot of diabetes at that show.
Oh my lord, I'm sure.
I can imagine.
It was Saliva on their second album, right before Josie Scott really just doubled down on the tour life cycle.
Yes. And this was also like pre-Spider-Man fame.
Post.
Oh no, you're right. Yes, this was after Hero was out.
They were putting out such tantalizing tunes such as Survival of the Sickest.
Yes. My first concert, I had a marvelous run. I saw David Gray at the Dodge Theater.
David Gray.
You wouldn't know him.
White Ladder. He had the song Babylon. Babylon. Let go your heart. Let go your head.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that one.
Babylon. It's on at 7:30 tonight.
I
saw David Gray. The next night, I went to the Nintendo Fusion Tour and saw Revis, Cold, and Evanescence.
Oh, man.
And that was the night where I saw Ben Lee wearing both a t-shirt and then a tank top over the t-shirt and discovered that that was like the height of fashion. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just fantastic.
There was more eyeliner at that show than at a Victoria's Secret.
You would be amazed, because, like, one, everyone was smoking fucking marijuana during the Cold set, which is, again, who I was going for. But yes, everyone in Cold was wearing eyeliner and sobbing through everything. That was before A Different Kind of Pain. So,
oh, that was for You're the Spider?
Yes.
Fuck yourself.
Dude, it was so good. But yeah, and then I got
Michael
to see...
sitting over in the corner just slack-jawed.
Hey, you guys, did you watch Mad Men? Because for the eighth time, yes, the intro song, RJD2, we get it. So, but yeah, and then like a plague of teenage girls descended for the Evanescence set. I kid you not, you could not have shifted the demographic in one show more dramatically than they did between those two bands. It's nuts. Anywho.
I think my first concert was the one that you guys invited me on when there was an open ticket. No, just kidding. It was 21 Pilots from last, actually over
all
a
your
year
friends
ago.
are heathens, I remember.
Was that a reference to something?
Maybe.
It was Suicide Squad. You know, that beautiful masterpiece of a movie.
Who's that?
There's a sequel.
Huh?
It's a Margot Robbie vehicle and a Will Smith picture.
Sorry, you mispronounced it. It's Margot.
Margot?
Margot?
Margot and the Nuclear Simpsons.
Right. Well, why are we here today?
Why are we here?
I'm Shane, and I'm an alcoholic.
Oh,
I'm
wait,
John,
no.
And I drink for Shane.
We already did the philosophical bullshit, so I guess we're not here to philoSophosize.
PhiloSophosize, yes.
Speaking of
It's a talk show.
philoSophizing, which you do when you're high, wait.
Oh, you fucked up your own segue.
Never mind. Today I'm gonna... Well, there's a little bit of a reference to it, but I don't want to get ahead of myself or give myself head. I'm gonna talk...
Have you tried that?
I would do it in a heartbeat.
You have to remove a couple of ribs, I think.
You've got that Scooby-Doo tongue.
Let's not bring this Merrily Manson faux fallacy here and start talking about how I wish I could phallically blow myself.
Did you say Merrily Manson?
Yeah,
Merrily,
she makes the pot pies.
I've heard.
What are we talking about today?
Talking about the Stanford tree.
Did we already get into the Stanford prison experiment? Like, we've talked about this.
That's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about Stanford.
What do you stand for?
Give me a college
and that is my episode, And I'm Mike, and I'm gone with that terrible pun. I kind of... What do you stand for?
I made the same joke in the Stanford Prison Experiment episode. It's a callback, man.
I guess.
Being
Stick
meta,
with
bro.
me. Stay with me, Goose.
Why do you
Stay
want to
with
talk
me.
about trees, young blood?
Whitest kids you know. Little bitty Johnny and his paper castle. Noel really jacked me up on the Great Bitters Baking Show, by the way. It really screwed me. The first time he showed up, I'm like, I don't know how to really deal with this, because I kept expecting him to be like, it's what's inside that counts.
It's not the peel, it's the nana.
It's not the peel, it's the nana.
For anyone playing the home game, Noel was Fielder, right?
Yes.
No, Fielder. That's Nathan Fielder. I don't remember his last name.
I just agreed with you because I thought you knew.
It's motherfucker from Mighty Boosh, which is probably the best comedy that was ever on air. Anyway.
And now he watches people bake bread and says very awkward things, wearing like shirts with cats crying on them.
It's very fitting.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
I would sell my left nut to get one of his original paintings.
I'm sure you can do that.
I will do it.
They have markets for it.
I will buy your left nut, sir.
Thank you for believing in my passion. What is a Stanford tree?
So a Stanford tree is the unofficial mascot of Stanford University, but is considered, or essentially is, the mascot of the Leland Stanford Junior University Marching Band, which is the name of the band. It's weird. I'll eventually do an episode on the band themselves, because I've said in the past I was in the Sun Devil Marching Band, the ASU Marching Band, and I know exactly.
We don't mention the evil empire on this podcast.
I don't know what you're talking about. You don't work with them or anything. So
no, I have no affiliation with that. All hail.
All hail Crow. Anyway,
Don't try to eat Crow.
I've heard things about them. Especially now that I know that they aren't actually allowed on ASU's stadium. They're not allowed to perform at ASU Stadium, the band. They were banned for some reason.
The band was banned?
Stanford or?
Stanford's band.
Stanford band was banned.
Shit.
He's a she.
The Leland Stanford Junior University Marching Band.
So who did they pee on to get banned?
What I heard, and this is hearsay, so it's probably not right. I heard that they shit on our field.
Allegedly.
On our stadium field. Allegedly. That could be wrong. That could also be a different school. That can be a different story. I don't know.
You
but
shit
essentially,
on my house, man.
The Leland Stanford Junior University Marching Band.
Is there an acronym? Is there some quicker way?
I think Michael is
the
suffering
LSJUMB.
I'm going to be honest with you, Chief.
I'm just going to call them the marching band.
There's a series of small strokes in here somewhere.
Oh, it's continuous strokes. But essentially, they have some sort of notoriety. They can't fly for a certain airline. What?
More strokes than a rowing squad, apparently.
Yeah.
You used to row crew at Harvard?
No, at Stanford.
What do you stand for?
Now that the roast of Michael is done.
Okay.
Here's
where I bolt my mouth shut for a minute.
This always happens.
So, a little bit of backstory about Stanford. Their team name is the Cardinal, so the Cardinals.
Not the Leland Stanford's cousin fucking crew of beaver bashing bastards and marching band.
That's the secondary. That's the junior varsity marching band.
Care and Tire Emporium.
That comes later.
That's their basketball team band.
You've merely adopted the band. I was raised in it, molded by it,
pooped on by it.
I've been playing the tuba since I was only a boy, and it was always deafening.
What the shit?
Whoa.
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway,
it's the bane of my existence.
The Stanford team's name is the Cardinal, which refers to the common songbird.
Oh, not the cardinal sin.
No.
Okay.
If only. That would have been better. I would have loved that.
Are they fighting the Louisville Cardinal as well?
No, their main rival is
the Arizona
UC
Cardinal.
Berkeley. No.
Son of a bitch.
No. UC Berkeley, which they do actually pop up a couple times in this story.
Okay.
Because essentially, I'm going to talk about a little bit of the history, a little bit about some controversies and stuff that popped up. Okay. So the tree is representative of El Palo Alto, which is the tree that appears on the official seal of the university.
Something that smells like goddamn AIDS.
Essentially. Okay, so now history. All right. From 1930 to 1972, Stanford's sports teams had been known as the Indians. And during the period from 1951 to 1972, Prince Lightfoot, which was portrayed by a member of the Yurok tribe, was the official mascot. Yes.
Now, is this Gordon Lightfoot?
No,
And
Prince.
that's why they have a band?
No.
He listens to the wind.
It's
the wind of their soul.
It's Prince.
Oh, no.
Prince Lightfoot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fine.
Not George.
Gordon, thank you.
I am ignoring
You disrespectful
your
bastard.
No.
All right.
I don't understand it, and it scares me. I don't do it.
So I like that this is the template we've set, is that John's episodes have no structure, and then Michael's episodes are just us on acid, apparently raving and jabbering like Hunter Thompson characters, and this is how we're going to proceed. Okay.
Well,
You're the only one with any decorum.
Well, I like posters, and I enjoy painted rooms that keep Asher out of them.
Red rooms. Red rooms.
Red room. Red room.
Is he afraid of red?
He has autism, and so it means that he is uncomfortable in any rooms.
And it doesn't really come up organically in most situations, but when we book some rental, like some rehearsal rooms, there's one in particular that they refer to them almost by the color of the room itself. And I was confirming with everyone because we pitch in, it's not just one person. It's like, hey, I need X on Sunday for the rental. And he's like, oh yeah, what room did you get? I was like, I got room B. He goes, that's not the red room, is it? I don't think so. Why? Well, red rooms just make it really hard to concentrate.
Oh, no shit. I thought you guys were just making a joke there.
No.
Huh.
Red room.
Red room.
That's actually how he talks. Anyway, continue on.
So, in 1972, Native American students and faculty successfully lobbied the university president at the time.
That's Princess Tiny Feet?
That's a good pull. Thank you. Oh, Venture Brothers are...
your references if I don't understand them because they scare me. So they lobbied the president at the time to abolish the Indian name.
I've been trying to do that since I got here.
Fuck, let's stop.
All right, go.
This is a level of disrespect we've never seen.
Especially because they successfully lobbied the abolishment of the name and the mascot because they considered both to be very offensive.
They are.
I mean, they're not just pulling strings here.
Yeah. As a result, they reverted unofficially back to the name Cardinal, which represented the school before.
Cool. So they actually chose to veer away from the Cardinal to Gordon Lightfoot. And then back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So for the next 9 years, Stanford's official name was the Cardinal, and there were debate among students and administrators concerning what the mascot and team name should be. There was a referendum in 1972 in favor of restoring. That is actually even worse. Let's ignore that.
Whew.
Restoring the Indian, while a second referendum in 1975 was against it. This vote also included new suggestions, many in reference to the industry of the school's founder, Leland Stanford, so that first part of the band's name.
His name would be
sense.
fucking Leland.
Yeah, he was a railroad baron. So a couple of the names that were suggested were the robber barons, the sequoias, the trees, the railroaders, the spinning jennies, and the spikes.
Some of those names are bullshit.
Some?
All?
Of them.
No, not all.
Oh, hell.
But
the spinning jennies?
The trees.
You're right, the spinning jennies.
Okay, all right.
The spinning jenny is a
Sex position.
I mean, probably.
It's a beverage I ordered at Bottle Shop the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, probably.
It's a Dave Matthews song. That's what it is.
Wait, now that you guessed it, do you know what a spinning jenny is?
It's a Dave Matthews song.
Is
Wait,
it
really?
literally
It's something that lesbians do to each other.
Probably. It's
He's
a
up there
device
chasing
that's
Amy.
used for It's a device that's used for picking or going through cotton faster. It's supposed to make cotton picking more efficient.
So we went from one racist stereotype with the Indians to people picking
I
cotton.
Did nothing.
Ding, 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 ding. Shane's in his lane.
Just saying. You're the one talking about picking cotton
Where
here.
the mind is and where it wants to go.
Oh, Cotton Eye Joe. Here we are.
Oof. Anyway.
When I say Black Betty.
You found one in the wild. So good on you. The robber barons actually won the vote. But the university's administration refused to implement it.
Called him a fucking nerd.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
it's a good
exactly.
name, actually.
Yeah, I like the robber
I'd put it
barons.
on a t-shirt right now.
Yeah.
I'd buy it
Right
for
now.
$1.
And speaking of which,
Our sponsor is robberbarons.com. Yes.
So in 1981, a different university president declared pretty much unanimously that all Stanford athletic teams would be represented by Cardinal.
Okay.
So while this was going on, the 1975 marching band performed a series of halftime shows that fictitiously, I think I said that right, suggested several other new mascot candidates. Fictitious? Facetious! Ah! Ha ha! Ha ha!
Oh, man.
So found it. All right.
I got it.
Wait, light applause.
You're just masturbating.
I didn't ask you to pleasure yourself.
That's how I celebrate.
That's how we all celebrate.
It suggested, they suggested several new other mascot ideas that they considered appropriate for Stanford, including the steaming manhole, the French fry, and the tree.
The steaming manhole.
Can you elaborate on that?
No.
Will you, please?
But I will say...
Can you send me the source link to the steaming manhole?
So...
Give me the sauce.
So, okay, the
Well,
source...
feces itself emits heat, so it would radiate. So sewer grate.
In cold mornings, you do see steam emanating from manholes.
It's possible.
Here. Yes.
I'm usually asleep.
Oh, that's true. You don't wake up until what?
You're usually asleep in general.
Fair.
Inside of a general.
The General Lee?
Good. Wait a minute.
Call General to the General. Save some time. God damn it! I'm sorry. We are just killing your topic, sir.
I mean,
no, you're killing it.
I like that killing better.
It's a killing joke.
The source or the sauce is literally Wikipedia. Stanford tree. And
Sanford tree?
A link.
What's wrong with my dad?
Whew. I'm not gonna stand for that joke. Anyway,
my dad's name is Sanford. That would make
Sanford.
Sanford, yes.
Yeah.
So my dad is a college short the T. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
My dad actually did get letters when I was younger addressed to Stanford. Which
did you
really
mention
enjoyed.
that in the Stanford episode?
I think so. Yes.
The experiment episode.
Oh. Yeah. Well, the more you know.
Anywho.
But yeah, no.
Cut off my legs and call me Shorty.
No bullshit. Those were the ones that it was cited on the Wikipedia website.
But let's get back to the bullshit of the steaming manhole was not something that was recommended by the You're kidding me.
It was.
The French fry and the steaming manhole. Yeah.
Well, these are. You said these are all suggested.
Do this in-house.
These are all suggested names from student
from the marching band. The marching band.
Okay, so this makes perfect sense because how many times do you give sarcastic? I think it's like the plot in so many fucking like buddy movies.
Okay. All right. It's also like the 4chan, what should we name the new Gatorade flavor? And Hitler did nothing wrong is the one that wins along with Gushing Grannies.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. I'm with you.
Right?
The steaming manhole. Mm-hmm. It's the Mannheim steamroller.
Oh my goodness.
But, the tree ended up, the tree mascot that they had ended up receiving so much positive attention that the band decided to make it a permanent feature.
Okay.
Fixture. Okay, so, now some stories. Alright, so, in case you didn't know, they make a new tree costume every year.
Once upon a time, you woke up with a tiny little dick. There's a story for you.
I guess that's a story.
That's the Stanford tree for you.
Anyway, so they make a new costume.
So, in the spring of 1987, a man named Paul Kelly wrote a column in the Stanford Daily, okay, where he complains about the state of the mascot's outfit, which was at the time essentially just a big green dress. Okay. After that, so in response to it, the band hosted a tree tryout, where Kelly was actually chosen as the next tree and was tasked with building the first true Stanford tree, which he did. Complete with weed leaves and a Where's Waldo hat.
This kind of loosely sounds like the plot of Midsummer.
Midsummer?
Summer.
Midsummer?
Horror movie.
Posse.
Explain to me the Midsummer.
Explain to me the connection.
Spoilers forward.
I guess we should.
Spoilers ahead of the time.
We've become the spoiler podcast.
Do you care, Shane? You haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Oh, okay, I get it now.
By the end of the movie, they're trying to elect a May Queen as part of this midsummer festival. It's like a paganistic kind of festival.
That happens in the middle of the summer.
If you can tell. By the end of it, she is just adorned in nothing but flowers, and she's just her face, and then just plants all over her. So it's almost like they audition her to be a tree or a plant the entire movie. That's who the May Queen's supposed to be. Anyway.
This sounds horrific. Yeah.
It is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Folk horror.
What'd you call it?
Excuse me?
Horror.
Do I have to censor that?
Maybe.
So he built the first true Stanford tree, complete with weed leaves, so cannabis, the five thing, and a Where's Waldo hat, as a tribute to a drum major that was in there at the time.
So let me see if I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Okay.
So the Stanford tree is just a mascot for the marching band?
He is the official mascot and a member of that marching band.
If I'm following along through all of our roasting, it's just someone crudely dressed up as a tree.
That they built. Yes.
Because they don't like the Cardinal.
Because they don't like Native Americans.
Yes.
Today.
Huh?
Maybe? I don't know. Well, it's because when they rescinded the Indian mascot, the Indian thing.
Right, because that's problematic for them to do that.
Yes, understandably so.
Right.
But instead of going back to Cardinal, they wanted to do something new.
And the best thing that they could think of is a fucking tree.
Well, they were also making jokes about everything. So the band is and I'll go into detail. I'll probably make another episode on the band itself, because there's a lot of
God's holy name.
There's a lot of controversy on that band.
The Otter von
Leland
Sweeten's
Stanford Junior University marching
jug band.
What did they do? Cover Tom Sawyer?
Maybe. I know that, as far as I'm aware, they're not allowed on a certain airline because they tried rocking the plane when they were flying in it.
They're a bunch of douchebags.
They're crazy motherfuckers. I'll just say that. That's all I know. I almost said that they're almost like 4chan, but I don't want to insult either party because I don't want to earn their ire.
You don't want to insult 4chan.
Yes.
What about Jackie?
Treehorn?
Okay.
The tree.
At the 1987 Big Game, capital B, which is essentially the Cal-Stanford rivalry game. That's what they call it, which is kind of boring for a name. I don't know what they call the ASU U of A one, but...
It's the Golden Shovel.
Golden Shower?
Feels like it.
And that is a fact.
So, Kelly, the guy that created the mascot at the time, was attacked by several Cal students who had run onto the field during the halftime show. He barely escaped... he pretty much barely escaped. Due to the heightened visibility of the Stanford tree, physical altercations with Cal students became commonplace, starting with that first big game. At the annual of the battle... There's more of that continuous stroke going. At the annual Battle of the Bands at UC Davis, Kelly had left the tree costume on the bus, and on the bus that they used to get there.
Omnibus.
Yes. And Cal students broke into the bus and stole the costume. The following week, the band received a ransom for the tree.
How much?
They actually had stolen the Cal University's mascot the week prior.
Oh, so they just wanted to do a trade then?
Yes.
Like, give us our shit and we'll give you yours?
And $300.
The band felt the price wasn't worth it. So they made a new tree. And that was that born the tradition of building a new tree every year.
Okay.
Yeah. So essentially that's why they do that. And they also, there have been other instances where the tree was stolen and ransomed. There's another particular one that I didn't have time to edit down because I didn't really mention this week. But this should have been Flat Earth Episode 3, but I didn't want to bore everyone to sleep because the two people I would have talked about were very boring. I'm just
So
saying
you're
that.
still finding a way to spin it.
Oh, yeah. It might be next week, 2 weeks from now, a year from now.
So it's like me with the Deer Hunter 4 and 5.
I actually see you doing that. I don't really know if I'll get to this one. Because the sources I have...
Are you throwing your hat?
I'm not throwing my hat.
Or... No, that's the opposite. Shane, what am I trying to say? Can you de-dumb me? Can you de-dumb me?
I've been
Throwing
trying
the towel?
for
Throwing the
years. It
towel?
doesn't work.
Throwing the towel? I'm
You're
not
a
throwing
towel.
the towel. No. But
Towel off, kids. Let's move.
instead of boring everyone to sleep again with another exciting thing on Flat Earth, I decided to do something... Anyway...
So what you're saying is you can steal the Stanford mascot, but it's basically all bark and no bite.
Yes.
Okay, good. Moving on.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, I'm going to talk about Tree Week.
Tree.
With more exposure, because...
Because trees need exposure.
Yes. The
It
decision
has the
about...
things plants crave.
The decision about who would become the tree became more rigorous, and so the band began to adopt a more formal selection process. Today's tree candidate must go through grueling and humiliating physical and mental challenges that show that he or she has sufficient chutzpah to be the tree.
Or chutzpah.
I take back my clap from earlier.
Okay. So they have to endure serious, rigorous trains and psychological testing, like attending school at Stanford.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Being part of a marching band willingly.
Check.
Dressing like a fucking tree.
Triple check.
That they build themselves.
Like a fucking nerd.
Yes.
DIY.
They also participate in dangerous stunts that aren't necessarily part of the process, but they're just trying to wow the tree selection committee.
Like living in California?
So I'll list a couple of them. So someone threw a beach party in an econ class. He received a C in it, because he mentioned that in an article that I used.
Okay.
Another person, or actually no, the same person, sorry, was shot out of a cannon and into a lake. There was water in the lake.
Bullshit.
He did specify. No. True. At least according to the article. And
so what you're saying,
from a guy.
he became a saint?
This guy was one that was a tree. He actually won.
Yeah,
he was
but
saying
he
what
became a saint.
He was canonized?
He was canonized, yeah.
No,
Oh my
two
God.
ends, not one.
I don't... It was funny, fucker. Move on.
I actually understood that reference, so I
You're
shouldn't
welcome.
have killed it.
Oh,
there.
man.
That was my
That
bad.
was a rough pun.
I'm waiting for you to do better.
He
I have nothing.
This is the same guy. He staged a giant action sequence involving midgets, ninjas, and a person named Dr. Thunder.
Midgets, Ninjas, and Dr. Thunder.
I
I've
love
seen
that.
title
It's one of my
somewhere.
favorite drinks.
Action sequences? Yeah. Other people, or another person...
I'm calling bullshit on that, by the way.
Nope.
Okay.
True. Another person hurled themselves in front of the university president's car dressed as a deer.
Are these all supposed to be real? They
Yes,
oh my-
actually they are. All these I got for real. I didn't want to create one because they were just preposterous enough.
It just shows how... Yeah, Jesus.
How dedicated you are to the tree and are willing to sacrifice yourself.
Stolen
for the
right
tree.
from my mouth, yeah.
Yes.
There was a quote that I almost wanted to copy-paste, but I didn't.
What
But
was that?
essentially that was what it
Oh,
was. Like,
got it.
These people are willing to sacrifice their body and physics for the tree.
Don't try this at home.
Please don't. They already have enough.
It's like Jackass with lower stakes.
Well, that's most colleges.
Oh, yes, true. Let's see. I will tell two quick stories. One of which I wish I found the actual video for, but I did not.
Okay.
So I call this section Rock'em Sock'em Mascots. So violence and absurd levels of prankery have been a two-way street between Cal and Stanford, and there were multiple documented cases of Cal students stealing the tree and Stanford students stealing
Right.
very creepy looking Cal mascot bear. And I'll show you guys after.
It's
because
the pedo bear?
You could link it in the description, too.
Yeah, yeah.
It has a LinkedIn profile?
What is his name?
Yeah, it has a pretty extensive job history.
I can't remember.
Okay.
But there was also Oski. I'll show you a picture and you guys will be reviled by it. Anyway, a few years during a ESPN televised timeout during a February 1995 game at Maples Pavilion. I don't know where that is.
Okay.
The Stanford Tree and Cal's mascot Oski got into a fist fight in front of the Stanford student section. The Oski costume's headpiece was forcibly removed by the tree during the scuffle. An act of special significance because Cal has taken great pains to keep its Oski costume where his identity secret since the 1940s. I tried finding...
So put that guy on blast.
Right. I tried finding a recording of it. I could not. Putting as many search terms into YouTube as possible. I unfortunately could not find it.
It's not
a good place to lose one's head.
It's not related to college football, but this is the 15-year anniversary of Malice at the Palace. And I didn't know that existed until today. Maybe I can talk about that later. It's not enough to cover, but it's an NBA thing.
Yeah, players went into the crowd and began to engage in violent fisticuffs with them.
It basically looked like a scene that could have been lifted out of the movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell. Like they were full on just decking fans in the face.
Yeah, it was fun.
Shit,
it was a game between the Detroit Pistons and the Indiana Pacers, I believe.
Pacers, I know for a fact. Indiana was definitely there.
If it's the Palace, I believe it's the Palace of Auburn Hills, which would be where the Pistons played at the time.
Yeah,
so yes,
there you go. But anyway, continue. It
that would be beautiful.
Just meant this is the second time today that I've read a story about just sporting events and fighting and just ridiculous, semi-funny, but things happening. So,
a year later, two Cal students emerged shirtless from the stands at Memorial Stadium at the big game during halftime and tackled the tree. They broke a bunch of branches and elicited cheers from Cal alumni prior to being handcuffed and led away.
So the tree is still a thing today?
Oh, yes. The one time I actually saw the tree in person was during, I think it was the 2013. It was when ASU was good at
they
football.
Treat it now like a religious icon, kind of like
semi-religious, maybe cults, like cargo cults status, where they don't know where it came from and they just worship it.
What state are they from? The cargo cults?
Not the United States. That's a term. Do you know the term cargo cult?
I can't say that I do.
It's a term that kind of originated from the 1940s, and this isn't bullshit. This is more what I'm trying to remember. So if it is a little bit off, that's my fault. It was a term that came from the 1940s during a lot of the island hopping activities that the Americans did during World War II. A lot of times they would land on an island and they would start shipping supplies or dropping supplies in. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the natives would see that, supplies land from the sky. And they would kind of worship these things as some sort of proto-god.
So literal cults around the dropping of cargo.
Yes.
All right.
I think that's where it came from. That's what I heard it from. Hearsay, misinformation, disinformation, etc. Right?
On brand.
Yes. Yeah. So, the last thing I'll say, just because I thought it was funny, not a really big story about it. In February 2006, then Tree, so the person that was the Tree, Erin Lashnitz was suspended until the end of her term as the Tree after her blood alcohol level was found to be 0.157, which is twice the legal driving limit in California, during a men's basketball game between Stanford and Cal. UC Berkeley police observed her drinking from a flask during the game and cited her for public drunkenness after she failed a breathalyzer test.
Oh, man.
So, just funny hilarity from that.
Good old speakeasy Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked what you did the last couple of... I'm speaking to John. I don't know why I said that without doing a pronoun.
You're fine.
Well, not for the listeners. You knew because I gestured at you. I gave you the finger.
You usually do finger me, but continue complimenting me.
Anyway,
bang, bang.
Yes, because this is actually a warranted compliment. You had a give me a 30-second elevator pitch, right? That was the thing that you tried giving to us too for the Stargate and then for Flat Earth too, right? And I like that. I think that should be a good way of summarizing things before we start blithering and blathering and going off into nothingness.
Kind of like a too long didn't read.
Yeah.
TLDR, and then you jump into the more particulars for the people that are interested.
Yeah,
That way, if you're on the hustle and bustle of your day-to-day life, and you're like, that sounds kind of fucking dumb to me, you can just go on with your life, or just see if there's anything to peel apart.
Yeah, so if someone's like, oh, how's your day? I would say that the tree has had an interesting... It started from pretty much a joke, and it continued to be a joke. That has been a respected part of the community.
So, almost like my marriage.
Is there something you want to tell us?
From the tiniest of seeds do the great oaks grow.
Just kidding. I love everything about you. Hugs and kisses.
As what John's trying to say is that early in his marriage, he got wood.
And now I
not
have
so
a sponsor.
So... apropos of the fact that we were talking about sporting events, we are sponsored this week by Seat Freaks. Everybody ready? You super excited?
I'm always excited.
I'm on the edge of my
seat.
As well you should be. We know that this is a comedy podcast, but living day to day with hemorrhoids or anal fissures is no laughing matter. I'm glad both of you were drinking while I read that. Dealing with the screams of an angry anus at a sporting event, concert, or film is far from the highlight of the night. So stop letting assholes ruin your good time. Seat Freaks offers an array of colorful and easy-to-store donut pillows that rest comfortably on any chair to assist with lower back pain, hemorrhoids, and pressure ulcers. Each donut is sized to fit a car, bus, train, sports venue, or airplane seat, and our designer's soft velour cover is removable by zipper and machine washable for easy cleaning, so you can sit and spin without worry. Visit seatfreaks.gov today to check out an array of donut deals, and Disinformed podcast listeners will get 87% off their first order of over $15 with the offer code IDIOT at checkout. That is seatfreaks.gov, offer code IDIOT for 87% off. Seat Freaks, that's one less pain in the ass you have to deal with. So that is our sponsor, and thank you very much, Seat Freaks, for coming at us with your beautiful donuts. We are so excited to powder them and place them on our derrieres.
I will say it does feel good on the whole.
It does, yes.
Yeah, it really does.
If you've spent too much time without a squatty potty, as John would know, you're going to need that Seat Freaks donut.
As we're ending this episode, I will say and agree, the hardest part about going out of town is not having your squatty potty. They need to make a mobile squatty potty.
Like they do. You just put the squatty potty in your trunk and take it with you. It's not get on attached to the floor of your bathroom.
Maybe from all my semen.
Well, everything is attached. Basically, your bathroom looks like a giant bit of fly paper. Like everything sticks to all of the surfaces.
It kind of looks like, when the dude with the mogwai feeds it and then, throws water on it, and then he comes back later and there's nothing but just like the nesting alien-like eggs and webbing.
Jizz Gremlin.
She has a name.
Sorry, Becky.
That's a joke. It's a bad joke.
That is actually going to be my new nickname for her, by the way, when I see her, and that's your fault.
Jizz Gremlin?
Jizz Gremlin. Hello.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, God.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, man.
Hashtag.
Man, I don't know how to feel about this tree shit.
Oh, yes.
Well, if you don't know how to feel about a shit, you should get a donut.
Yeah. I guess I should go over the lies, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, let's round it out with what we totally could have told were inaccuracies about this ridiculous ass mascot.
People dressing up as a fucking tree.
Stanford, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Between
the league that no one wants to be.
So, with creating fake prisons, with allowing people to shoot elephants in the ass with LSD,
it doesn't sound like a real place to me. Like how people try to argue that Australia isn't real.
Wait, you're saying it is?
Shut the fuck up. with respect, shut the fuck up. I don't think Stanford is a real place. It doesn't sound like it should be allowed to exist.
Well, it's not a real place. This is all a simulation.
Oh, I mean, time is a flat circle.
And the mind is a chalkboard.
Yeah.
All right.
What are the lies?
Stanford's team name is Cardinal. That is true.
Okay.
Referring to the common songbird, that is not true. It is actually the vivid red color. Cardinal is apparently a red color.
Oh. Well.
Yes.
Well.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Well.
You guys got the spinning Jenny, so good. Good on you.
Oh, yes. I got a spinning Jenny last week. Paid $15 for it, and I got a donut afterwards.
Now I just want to know what Urban Dictionary says spinning Jenny is.
Well.
Let's find out.
Why don't you keep looking up the lie?
Well, I will read more. Yes. So, I said Kelly's first true Stanford tree was complete with weed-shaped leaves and a Where's Waldo hat. That is not true.
I mean, at this point, I was not going to buck the system. The weed-shaped leaves I kind of scoffed at, and then I'm like, oh, well, naturally, put a Where's Waldo hat on. It's the fucking 70s. Huh?
I have seen, I can't remember which tree it was, but as far as I'm aware, there was a tree that had weed-shaped leaves. I think that was the year that I did actually see it, because ASU played Stanford, and I think the Pac-12 tournament that was here at ASU, and I think
the Parcheesi finals. Yeah, I remember.
Yes, yeah, I think it was 2013 or something. I can't remember.
Oh,
exactly.
Year of the Rutabaga.
Yes, yeah. But anyway, it was actually just complete with it had surf shorts and whitetails. That was it. It was very boring.
Do you have any other lies?
Let's see, I didn't talk about the Phoenix 5, which is fine. There was a whole heist involving the tree, and
who stole the hole?
The Phoenix 5. The lie for that one was that it was actually not a reference to Phoenix at all. Yeah, okay. Essentially, they stole it. 30-second pitch. They stole it because they went there during. They tried stealing it in lieu of a big game. The big game. They realized that they were trying to steal signs. They happened upon it. They went to a party. They waited until after the party. They stole it. They put a ransom out. Police were starting to get involved. They actually sent a segment where they recorded it being blackmailed to a news station. They eventually sent it back. It kind of set the standard for how, essentially, after that point, no mascots were stolen after, because it was, kind of a big deal, and people wanted to press charges, and then nothing happened from it. But essentially, that was essentially it, yeah.
Okay. All right, and then to see us out, do you want to hear
I do.
The two spinning Jenny urban dictionaries that I found?
Give it.
Yeah. Well, there's the one that it's not. Well, we'll do the top two results here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a guy and a girl both spin around with their heads on baseball bats till they get really dizzy, like that relay race called Dizzy Izzy. Then they try and have sex. Good luck getting it in the right hole. And then they give the example. And by the way, this was submitted in 2008.
Okay.
The example is, dude, I pulled a spinning Jenny on that chick last night, and my dick ended up in her nose. And then the other one, and I like this one better. It's when a girl gives a guy a BJ and spins in a circle while doing it. Usually the male is lying flat while the girl repeatedly moves in a specific motion to give maximum pleasure. I read it exactly as it's written down. So,
hey, listen, I have enjoyed the cover of Maxim magazine on many occasions.
What about stuff?
Stuff is interesting, but, Maxim has better articles.
Yeah, because you read it for the articles.
I do.
So yeah, I guess that's what a spinning Jenny is.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to end out this.
Can you, if Will Ferrell read a philosophy textbook on record for 20 minutes, it would sound like this episode.
I like where that's all
the
you
clip.
Can get.
Yep, that's the one.
All right.
Oh, well.
Well, I can tell you, this was painful enough that I have just ordered another donut from Seat Freaks.
I have ordered another one as well.
Yeah, I'm going to need to have one for each cheek at this point.
Won't be walking straight for days.
Straighter than a Stanford tree. Which is a misnomer. Anyway, thank you all for enduring us as per usual. We sincerely appreciate you. Thank you to Seat Freaks for sponsoring us. And if you're keen on checking us out, if you want to see more of this nonsense, you can find us on Instagram at Disinformed Podcast, at Facebook.com/Disinformed Podcast, and on the Twitter at Disinformed Pod. And that is going to do it for this week's salty edition of the Disinformed Podcast. I am Kenton Eldorado.
I am Timothy Lone Cactus.
I'm Robert. Ew.
It's the only way I can make it sound appealing.
That was sounding appealing? It sounds like a banana peeling, but... thank you for coming, Robert. Don't worry. We'll clean it up.
With trees.